Namaskar everyone. It gives us immense pleasure to welcome you all to the Inner Peace Workshop organized by Ramashram Satsang Mathura. Ramashram Satsang Mathura is a non-profit organization that strives to promote peace, harmony, and spiritual growth among individuals. The Inner Peace Workshop is a step towards achieving this goal. The workshop will help you explore your inner self and discover the peace that lies within you. Let us start with a brief history of Ramashram Satsang Mathura. On November 3, 1883, a noble soul, Param Sant Dr. Chaturbhut Sahai Ji, was born in the northern Indian province of Etah. He would later become the founder of Ramashram Satsang Mathura. He studied Urdu, Farsi, English, Hindi, and Sanskrit. He had a degree in electrohomeopathy and possessed basic knowledge of Ayurveda that he used for selfless social service. Dr. Chaturbhut Sahai Ji, our Guru Maharaj, met Lala Ji Maharaj, his Guru, also known as Dada Guru, during the course of his Ayurveda practice in Fatehgarh. Over the years, their association gradually deepened. During an epidemic, they had the opportunity to spend more time together. Guru Maharaj experienced an indescribable dissemination of intrinsic power towards him whenever he was in the company of Dada Guru. It was during this time that Dada Guru passed on the knowledge of this unique method of meditation to Guru Maharaj. There were no spoken words or scriptures read. There was just a silent transfer of knowledge, reliving the Guru-disciple tradition yet again. Our system of meditation is based on what Guru Maharaj learned from Dada Guru that day. In 1919, Dada Guru directed Guru Maharaj to propagate this system of meditation to as many seekers as possible. Guru Maharaj, upholding the ethics of the Guru Shishya Parampara, followed his Guru's directive in letter and spirit. He dedicated his entire life towards propagating this little-known but unique method of meditation and influenced thousands of spiritual seekers who he came into contact with, without any discrimination based on religion, social, or economic status. Due to Guru Maharaj's efforts and Dada Guru's blessing, the satsang's popularity increased at a fast pace. In 1931, Dada Guru Maharaj personally attended the first spiritual congregation, or Bhandara, organized by Guru Maharaj in Etah, where he used to reside during that time. Let us now explore the origins of Dada Guru, also known as Param Sant Sri Ramachandra Ji Maharaj. He was born in 1873 in Manipuri in northern India. He studied English, Urdu, and Farsi and worked as a government official in Farrukhabad. Although as a young man, Lalaji, as he was lovingly called, imbibed religious virtues from his mother, his spiritual journey did not truly begin until he received initiation from a spiritually enlightened man, Maulana Shah Fazl Ahmad Khan Sahib, also known as Hazur Maharaj, a follower of Islam. This great Sufi saint, Hazur Maharaj, took the revolutionary step of imparting spiritual knowledge to a disciple who was not a follower of his own religion, thus exemplifying that spirituality is above and beyond the barriers of religion, caste, and creed. He facilitated the enlightenment of Dada Guru Maharaj Ji, thus setting in motion the events that would culminate in the establishment of Ramashram Satsang. The Rs 150 commemorative coin that you see here was released recently, marking the 150th birth anniversary week of Dada Guru Maharaj Ji. It is a tribute to a saint who promoted the evolution of human consciousness, thus rendering a great service to mankind, and with whose blessings Ramashram Satsang Mathura came into being. Let us now introduce some other saints in the Ramashram Satsang family. An epitome of piety, purity, and compassion, Jia Ma was spiritually empowered and had been declared spiritually proficient by 3 gurus, Dada Guru Maharaj, Mahatma Raghuveer Dayal Ji, and Fakir Maulana Abdul Ghani Khan Sahib. This was unprecedented at that time. For Jia Ma, all followers were her children. She treated everyone in the family with love and compassion and tirelessly attended to the ones who needed help. Pandit Mihilal Ji and Guru Maharaj's eldest son, Dr. Brijendra Kumar Ji, conducted satsang activities under Jia Ma's guardianship. Pandit Mihilal Ji played a very important role and made extensive contributions to the propagation and proliferation of the satsang. The current form of the satsang in India is mainly due to Panditji Maharaj's ardent hard work. He held the important post of the editor of the Sadhan magazine for several years, and his contribution to the satsang literature has been immense. Dr. Brijendra Kumarji worked closely with Panditji in shaping the satsang. Subsequently, several prominent personalities like Hemendra Kumarji and Narendra Kumarji served the satsang and are continuing to do so. One of them is respected Sanjeev Kumarji. Sanjeev Kumarji is a meditation practitioner with over 40 years of experience. He has been facilitating guided meditation sessions in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area and across the US for the last 2 decades. Sanjeev Ji is also the president of Ramashram Satsang Mathura Incorporated. He believes that by following the meditation technique developed by his grandfather, Guru Maharaj Ji, it is possible to reduce the impact of stress, anxiety, and depression that modern life places on the mind and body. He is strongly motivated to make a meaningful impact in people's lives and increase the peace and happiness we can experience day to day by following the peaceful lifestyle promoted by the principles of Satsang. Throughout the workshop, you will be guided by an experienced spiritual leader, Sanjeev Ji, who will help you learn the technique to find inner peace and overcome stress, anxiety, and negative emotions. You will also have the opportunity to interact with other like-minded individuals during the breakout session after the meditation. Here, during the question and answer session, you will be able to ask any questions that you may have after experiencing the meditation session. We believe that inner peace is essential for a fulfilling life, and we hope that this workshop will help you find that peace within yourself. We urge you to approach the workshop with an open mind, be receptive to new ideas and techniques, and participate actively in the session. We wish you a rewarding and enriching experience during the workshop. Thank you for joining us today.
So welcome everyone. Actually, last month I went to India, so Bangalore, Hyderabad. We did this intro was for that. So we talked a bit about inner peace. This time on June 21st, there is International Yoga Day. So I have been having these sessions to describe what is satsang. My grandfather in 1930, he started a process once he got to that, what he called the ocean of peace or land of peace. He started a process of like making this free for public. And in India, in northern India, he basically, in every city these days, like I was talking to my cousin, he said 62 events in the year coming up, so every big city there is an event, but all in Hindi, traditional Hindi. But what he changed was that very deep spiritual inner peace related concepts he simplified and made it like for normal people to understand, right? So when I saw like June 21st is International Yoga Day, so why not talk about satsang in context of yoga? So let's start with that, right? Yoga actually by definition is union. So if you translate it, it's union. So union with what, right? So union, the way, so satsang also is, sat is positive energy and sang is to be with, right? So if, if we think about to be with positive energy or what I call transcendental energy, So satsang is to be with transcendental energy. So the way this session is formatted, 20 minutes, I talk a little bit about the concepts, then we actually practice being with transcendental energy, right? So now satsang is being with transcendental energy, but yoga is nothing but union with transcendental energy. So, you know, people think that yoga is, mostly, the most common way of understanding yoga is that it's, physical exercises, breathing exercises, which it is. But today, what I wanted to emphasize was that Maharishi Patanjali, who was one of the old masters of yoga, he actually came up with what is called Ashtanga yoga, which is nothing but 8 limbs of yoga. Okay, so 8 limbs of yoga, 4 of them are meditative practices. So the one of the I think he was like why Yuan, I'm getting some echo here. Um, so out of these 8 limbs that he describes, if you go asanas and pranayams, which is physical exercises and breathing exercises, which everybody understands, then yam and niyam, which is the behavior patterns that you need to acquire and behavior patterns that you need to give up for that ultimate union, right? So those were called yam and niyam. But on the other side, if you see looking inwards, manifestation or object of concentration, meditation itself, and higher consciousness, all these 4 are part of meditative practices, right? So if I was to summarize what this, before we practice, what I just wanted to emphasize, that yoga by definition is union with transcendental energy. If you go by the yoga philosophy, there are 8 limbs of that. Like, so if there is a framework that defines yoga, 4 parts of those out of 8 are nothing but meditative practices. And that's what I call inner yoga. So I'll just give you, some Onkar, I think this must be like 12, 14 years ago, in Centerville Public Library, we actually did the first session, and it was about inner yoga. So people came with, yoga mats and stuff. But I said, no, this is more to do with looking inwards, manifesting transcendental energy, getting into deep meditation, and then getting to a higher consciousness state because of that manifestation. So once you get to deeper meditation, you will have this higher level of, consciousness or awareness, right? So those are integral part of yogas. That's all I wanted to emphasize in today's session. So hope that makes sense, right? So inner yoga, Yuan, could you bring up the inner yoga slide now? So if we just focus on these 4 meditative limbs, then we're talking about inward orientation, manifestation. So what do you manifest in your meditation matters a lot. And that is where most of the meditations differ. So what are you manifesting? So here, when I started pretty young, because I was born in this family, they would say you can manifest or visualize transcendental energy emitting from whoever you believe in or whatever you believe in, or just the pure source of energy, right? So like cosmic energy. If you want to just believe in source of energy, that's fine. If you want to believe that, Christ or Muhammad Sahib or Krishna or Rama, you can think of them as, full of this transcendental energy, and then manifest that. So if you try to manifest this transcendental energy in its pure form or imitating through, a persona, you could go deeper, much deeper into meditation. So that was another unique thing about what my grandfather did. Basically, instead of getting stuck in breathing or chanting or some activity, which is also helping us to concentrate better, he said that take one step further. Go and stop doing the activity, because eventually in meditation, you want to be, according to Maharishi Patanjali, one of his key definitions of yoga is yoga chit vritti nirodha. So what that means is yoga is when your subconscious or unconscious mind is devoid of any thought, right? And it's like, how do I get there, right? I mean, our mind is just going nonstop to like so many places. So how do we get to that place? Come on in. So come. So I was just describing inner yoga in the context of the overarching yoga philosophy. So so going back to so one of, he has written this 7-volume book on how he went through his spiritual journey. Again, in Hindi, I'm trying to put some English content out there on the YouTube channel that we have. We can share the link. So there is one chapter on the mysteries of inner peace or peace, right? I must have read it ample number of times through the years. This year, I finally, while translating, I think it was like a eureka moment or a light bulb going on. So I was trying to translate, and he's describing how our mind, sometimes get consumed with something in the past or something in the future. And if you really look at it, because mind has the ability to create all these scenarios, which is a great capability, but a lot of other creatures or beings don't have that. But if you abuse that, what happens is the what if scenarios now become the basis of worry and anxiety, right? Now, if you ask anyone, literally like everybody can relate to worry and anxiety, right? So I was trying to create a talk on how meditation helps you give up worry and anxiety. And I found one of these chapters in the 7-volume book is like about this mystery of peace. And he talks about 6 or 7 different techniques on how you can get to peace. And the biggest culprit or biggest challenge or biggest thing that you have to tackle to go to that level of peace is to tackle worry and anxiety. Literally, he says the biggest challenge to your going to the higher pursuit, to go to a higher level of consciousness, go to a higher level of peace or consistent or lasting peace, is like you have to tackle worry and anxiety. And then he talks about several things. I won't go into those details. What was the eureka moment for me was, he says, okay, so your worry and anxiety is based on your mind going to either the past or the future and all those what if scenarios, etc., or you just run it nonstop and you go crazy, right? And he says, so there are two techniques. One is live in the present moment, right? If you live in the present moment, you're not going in the past, you're not going in the future, but how do you live in the present moment, right? And that's meditation. So even if you go to mindful meditation, this is heartful meditation, any meditation will bring you to the current moment, or most of them. But then he goes further. He says, what if? And he quotes Maharishi Patanjali about Yoga Chittavritti Nirodha, which is, what if your mind was actually devoid of any thoughts? Where would worry and anxiety live? So I'm like, so I wanted to describe how you can get rid of worry and anxiety. What I realized was that if you can center your concentration, or you're able to, focus. So yoga chitta vritti nirodha, he is saying yoga is when you get rid of not just conscious mind, but even in your unconscious mind, when you are completely devoid of thoughts, that is when yoga happens. So that union with transcendental energy, that is when the higher consciousness or samadhi happens. So, and interestingly, what just happened, so I wanted to write an article on, how meditation helps worry and anxiety. It's a one-liner. If you don't have thought, then you cannot have worry and anxiety. But easier said than done. Right? Like everything else, it's like, how would I have that state where I have no worry or anxiety? Is by not having thoughts. And how do I do that? So that's what we will practice, right? So interestingly, inner peace, and I talked about this before in other sessions, there was another easier way where if you sit with someone who is in deep peace, you will feel that peace because it's infectious, right? So my grandfather met with someone who was at that state, and he felt that he had done so many other things. He had tried everything that he could possibly can. And he said, like, I just went, met him, and there was a change. And then, the story goes on and on. But basically, what happens is, so he packaged what he learned into the practice that we will do now, right? So basically, he said, in overall, some of the yoga practices, there is a lot of emphasis on breathing exercises, physical exercises. They're all good. But what he said is that if you start with the meditative or activities that control your mind, that will have a tremendous impact on your behavior, on your health, on your concentration, as well as your overarching goal of union with transcendental energy, or Sat. So that's why he came up with this Satsang, which is, to be with transcendental energy. Um, and so essentially, satsang also, to be with your guru who is at a transcendental state is also called satsang. Lot of chanting and devotional songs are also called satsang. But he said, no, you focus heavily on inner peace, inward orientation, manifest this transcendental energy, just focus on that. That will result in all of the above. So, you do all those practices. If you just sit down for few minutes, 15, 20 minutes every day, this will have long-term effect. Most of the effects that you will have otherwise. So we'll discuss this, we'll try to have an interactive session at the end, but let's practice this now. So let's do that. So sit in a relaxed posture, which mostly we are all, but I think the key here is that you have to sit in a way that you are still for next 20, 30 minutes, right? It's about 40 minutes with the music. So we transition in with music because music helps concentration, right? So we'll have some music for first few minutes, then we will go into deep silence. So the idea is that we meditate in deep silence. Every move of your body will distract you. So relaxed posture is important, right? So relax and still posture. And interestingly, just to get the relaxed, earlier the yoga practices, you would sit on the floor, right? To sit on the floor still, you need to be in good health, right? That's why asanas and pranayams or physical exercises, breathing exercises were so important. But core was that during meditation, I want to be completely still, right? You cannot do that unless you are in good health. So that is why some of those exist. Anyway, so relaxed posture. Now eyes lightly closed. Eyes lightly closed for the same reason, because the sensory input is distracting us as well. So eyes lightly closed. And now you observe your body, that it's completely relaxed. There is no strain and there is no movement. And now, so this is the key. What are we trying to manifest? So we're trying to imagine, visualize, but people get caught up in this. So I would heavily emphasize meditation should be effortless. So if you're making too much effort to manifest or observe, please don't. This is like right now, I'm sitting in a room full of light, right? Light is there. So same way, think of a million times, a billion times more powerful energy is right here, right now with us in form of light. And that transcendental light is entering our heart and enlightening the heart. And then from there, it is going to every part of your body. So just, I'll repeat this, that eyes lightly closed, relaxed posture, and we're observing this transcendental energy in form of light in front of us that's entering our heart, distributing throughout our body. and we are becoming one, completely immersed, becoming one with this light. Now, mind will wander away because it does, right? As soon as you realize the mind has wandered away, you bring it back. That is inward orientation. You bring it back to this thought and this thought alone, that transcendental energy in form of light is in front of us. It's entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we are becoming one with this light. We'll start with music, then music will fade away. We'll go into deep silence and try to focus inwards, focus on this energy, and just try to imbibe this positive energy within you. So let's start now. Okay. So before I open up for interaction, maybe Eddie, do you want to talk a little bit about the overview of Satsang?
I can wrap up with when you get done, basically with the interactive session. I can sort of wrap up with some review thoughts. That might be helpful.
Okay, sounds like a plan. So let's open it up for any sharing of thoughts, questions, comments. One question I was kind of thinking, my grandfather started this in 1930. Maybe at that time there must be, fewer people there. Now there are hundreds of thousands of people who follow this practice. When I go to India for events, the traditional events have like sometimes 7,000 people. Sitting in silence is a miracle. I mean, imagine like you have 100 people here, it'll be very noisy mostly. Thousands of people sitting in silence is just incredible group energy. So then the question becomes that why are just few of us here? So my experiments with bringing the two together, so when there are 100 people in the room and all of them speak Hindi, then when I speak in English, they say like, why? so I tried that for almost more than a decade. And then I said, you know what? I think maybe we need English content. We need English sessions, at least to start with separately, because it just, it looks very odd when I have my friends sitting there, everybody understands Hindi and they're like, why are you speaking in English? So it's an odd thing. But even in India, like when we did in Bangalore and Hyderabad, there are lots of people who don't understand Hindi. So, now I think this year I'm planning to get a little more serious about the English content. There are tons of books my grandfather wrote, and then, my uncles, his followers, my father, they continued to work on it. This practice is literally like what I would say, simplified to a point where, I mean, I have 3 kids, I have a job, and I've been practicing this without any, and now sharing this is more like, sometimes, especially in a practice where you feel you're integral part of the community, sharing becomes a necessity rather than just, it's not an option. And in English, I feel if translated properly, which is a much bigger challenge than I initially thought, like the Hindi, translation into English, when you just do that, just like that, it's very unreadable. so we're challenged with that. We have books which have been translated, but they just don't read well. they're like deeply full of very, in terms of the thought process, the research, the things that are in there, but when they don't read well, they don't read well. So it has been an interesting exercise. So anyway, so comments, questions, thoughts. Luz, sorry you couldn't come in person, but happy Saturday. So every Saturday we do a virtual session at this time, 10 a.m. And Jackie and Luz and all, Callie, all these people have been attending. Jeff, so good to see you all.
I
Taru.
haven't.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Very good. The 8 limbs of yoga is really making me help control the stress and anxiety.
Yep. Yeah.
Happy Saturday, everyone.
Hello.
Always great to meditate with you all. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person. I have a medical thing going, so I had to stay home this weekend, but it's still wonderful to meditate with you virtually. And it was another great session as usual. I don't have anything much to contribute. I'm just trying to think more deeply about what you said in terms of, one of the biggest hurdles, if not the biggest hurdle to meditation, is worry and anxiety. And, just trying to really process that, like, why do our minds always gravitate towards anxiety and worry, even when we're experiencing total joy and bliss? Like, there's always something that comes up, like, oh, I'm having a great day, but I should wait. Let me think about this. Oh, there's something to worry about. There's always something to worry about. Why? I wonder, why do our minds do that? I read a long time ago this book on, like, it was a book on happiness, but it was also, it was like a kind of like an analysis from the Buddhist perspective, but also from the scientific perspective, and blending the two. And I remember, and I feel like it's come up in here too, in our conversations, but our mind, like these sort of responses of like risk assessment, and those were helpful in the wild when we were like surviving, but they're not necessary now necessarily all the time. So I don't know, it's interesting to think about why we have anxiety, and whether meditation helps, but in the process of getting to that level, what can we do to eliminate anxiety? Like, I know that meditation is a way to eliminate anxiety, but if it's preventing meditation or interfering with it, what are some other ways or avenues to combat anxiety so as to have a more smoother pathway to meditation? Anyway, I was just thinking about that, but other than that, it was a great meditation as always.
No, it is a great point here. Why, I feel worry and anxiety. So we have a very, very highly developed capability, which is the mind. And we, I think, abuse it more than use it. I think that's what it is. The mindfulness has become more and more popular because when you are like observing breath, just that activity brings you to the present moment. So very simple, very quick. It brings you to the present moment. So worry and anxiety would be at bay. this method is a little deeper in the sense that when you manifest transcendental energy, you will get a fewer more byproducts in terms of higher level of awareness, consciousness, etc., far sooner. So that's one of the differences, I would say. Yeah. You want to use this?
You can speak on this. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Can you hear me? Oh, yeah. I'm just curious about, oh, I hear.
I can.
That's all right.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, that's distracting to me. I'm just curious about the chanting aspect. You say there's breathing / chanting, which is another method of meditation, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think use this.
Yeah.
Both sides. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I have a couple questions. Like, I'm also interested in transcendental meditation, but this is not that.
Yeah, it's
Okay. So, I mean, I'm trying to learn more about this. I'm trying to make it part of my, you know, part of myself, really. One of the meditation, this was a long time ago. I went to California, and I went to, okay. It's like a very large, I don't remember what the method was really called, but there was like many of us, probably hundreds of us.
Mhm.
And it was all chanting.
Mhm.
And,
It's pretty powerful, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just, and I haven't been able to find that again.
Mhm.
But I thought that was really incredible.
Yeah, it's a collective energy that just swarms. Yeah.
So, for me, it's almost like it's easier to get into that state through chanting.
Mhm.
And I don't know why that is, but
So I can explain it.
yeah. I think part of it was also because there were so many people present, but also that it just, maybe because I'm kind of very much an auditory person. I don't know.
No. I think that's very, very, very common observation. And I have been to plenty of those as well.
But one is, I mean, it's just different.
It is just different. I'll explain that part. So let me do that. So Yuan, could you bring that pyramid for a minute? Did everyone hear the question? I think online, basically, there are several different types of meditation, transcendental meditation. There is, group chanting or kirtan. It's also called kirtan. It's also called satsang. So what happens is, and I maybe I shouldn't say this, but my wife loves to be part of those sessions just because it one, it helps concentration. Two, it makes you feel so good. The thing is, here we want to feel the same within. Okay, so how would that happen, right? So think about, I am in this enormously charged atmosphere. What's happening? I am basically, the collective energy is very uplifting, and that music actually is helping me concentrate, right? And then it's also lifting me up. So what happens is that if there was a path where eat, drink, and be merry, the complete safety and survival instincts are my full focus, that being the bottom of the pyramid. At the top of the pyramid is peace, right? Where peace is in such abundance that you, it's like peace on demand. I can be very free absolutely when I want to, right? If I had that ability to be completely and totally very free when I want to, peace on demand, right? So if there was a path from the eat, drink, and be merry to where me is the focus, self-centeredness, to a very high level of, this consciousness where what I call light, love, and peace are integral to my, existence. So what happens in Upanishads, like about several thousand years ago, there was a model, which was a 5-step model. So realm of the world, realm of life, realm of mind, realm of knowledge, realm of love. And at the top is the land of peace. So what happens is knowledge comes first, unconditional love and unconditional giving comes next, because until and unless I understand what my life's purpose is, how am I connected with everyone? Why should I share my peace and whatever I know and everything else with others? Why? My grandfather did this pretty much entire life, right? Why? So the question is because he suddenly realized that he is so integral to everybody's existence, which some of us, because of the survival and safety instincts and all that, we just don't realize that. So this light, love, and peace, so some of what he's described, some of what I observed with people who had reached higher states within satsang. So when I started thinking about how would I describe this, and for some people, this might be a repeat, but once when I was in college ages ago, I actually was struggling with some, thoughts that had become mental blocks and were not going away. And I was like, okay, so I need to ask this. So one of my grandfather's disciples lived near Taj in India. So I was thousands of miles away in India itself, studying. So I visited him a couple of months later. For all those months, I was very preoccupied with the thoughts that I was caught up in. And I said, like, I'll ask him this, I'll ask him this, and I'll ask him this. And that was running for not weeks, but months. And I went there, I sat in front of him, and I couldn't remember any of those questions. I'm like, this is bizarre. So I said, like, there must be something wrong here. My memory has given up on me. So I then went back into my brain again and couldn't recall any of that. So, Yuan, bring back the slide again, because I'm not done with it. So that was the effect of being with the person, right? They were at so very less, very free level of peace that was infectious. I was, so peaceful and calm that I could not, recall that state of, being. It was, I was caught up in something, but now I was free of that, right? Without any of my effort. So to answer your question, what happens is that once we start, so concentration of mind starts in the realm of life, right? And if you look at the solution here, so there are strong desires, strong emotions, situations often impact inner peace. So that's the problem in this realm of life. And activity-based meditation helps there. So till I get to this higher level of meditation, inner meditation, which is inwards, where I would feel like thousands of people are chanting like existence within, till then, external help is better. Okay. And that is in realm of life, activity-based meditation is chanting, kirtans, mantras, music. I mean, you take these days, younger people is like, I have an app, it plays some nice music, calming music, and I calm down and I'm great. I don't need anything more, right? But at that moment, that is helping, right? But that's in the realm of life where activity-based meditation actually helps, right? Then what happens is, if you continue to be in that chanting mode for some time, you feel this blissfulness, right? Now you have gone to the realm of mind, where because of that concentration leads to that very less state a bit, and that opens up this portal of happiness. But it's short-lived first and then gets deeper, right? So, and then what happens is, till the realm of mind, it is lunar states where you are only the light is coming from elsewhere and you're reflecting that light. But then while, all the prophets and everyone that, seem to have gained a higher level of consciousness, we associate light with them, right? What is that? Because now you have inner light that is visible in some sense. That's light is nothing but knowledge, because when the light is on, you can see things. When light is off, you don't, right? So that realm of knowledge is where your inner third eye opens up, your ability to see things clearly opens up, your inner light is now, so it's a solar phase where you have light of your own rather than reflecting somebody else's light. So to me, people say, oh, what is guru and why is guru and what's the role of guru? To me, every one of us can become a guru. If you get to the realm of knowledge, you have achieved that. If you go to the realm of love, you are even higher level guru now. If you are at the top of the pyramid, then So there is a Buddha story where, he was passing through a jungle, and one of the guys who used to loot people, who would cross that jungle, and would kill them, take one of the fingers and put in his garland, right? So his name was Angulimal because he had a garland of fingers, right? And what happened? So he encountered Buddha, and something must have transpired there, and he joined Buddha in his Sangha. So just the to be with transcendental energy is like that. Just few moments of being with Buddha, something changed in his perception, right? And rest is, so what happens is that when you are on the top of the pyramid, you have that impact. So all of us can get to the top of the pyramid if we know how to climb that steep incline. And how do you do that? Just close your eyes and do it. So it's as simple as that. Anyway, so anything else any comments, questions before we wrap up for today? Went on. Anything online? All right. Today, I think we went on. Cool. Very good. So thank you very much. I don't know, Yuan or Himanshu, do you have the schedule? So today, I think a few folks are coming from Connecticut. So we're having a 6 p.m. session here again. And next Saturday, June 3rd, we will have the monthly June session. So I'm trying to have a monthly in person and then weekly online. So we have 6 p.m. today, 10 a.m. next week here. Then June 10th is Bangalore, and then June 21st is a weekday, but I thought we'll have a discussion on inner yoga that day. So yeah. All right. Very good. So happy Saturday, everyone. And thank you for being here. It was a great session. All thanks to you. Thank you.
प्रणाम भैया जी, प्रणाम भैया.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. So